We're celebrating the legacy of Martin Luther King. He was a very, very educated man, very, very read man, and a voracious writer. He had a BA in sociology. He had a bachelor's degree in divinity. He had a PhD in theology. He studied intently the philosophy of Gandhi. The nonviolent movement he led was because he studied Gandhi. Gandhi did this before he did, and he studied that. So what I want to talk to you about is how do you improve yourself? Right here, all of us here at FOB Fenty, Jalabad, Afghanistan, and we're going to be here a little while. So I challenge you, ladies and gentlemen, to take time to work on yourself while you're here. Your own personal development. And what I mean by personal development, ladies and gentlemen, is the books you read, what you listen to, and the people you associate with. What I mean by the books you listen to, the books you need to think about is that each one of y'all in a particular service, whether it's the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. In order to improve yourself, your senior military officer in your service has a reading list. In the Army, it's called the Chief of Staff Army Reading List. In the Navy, it's Chief of Naval Operations Reading List. All those different services have a reading list, and I encourage you to take a look at that reading list and pick up books from that reading list to read, to improve yourself. Because if you've decided to, most of you have decided to make the profession of arms your profession. If you want to rise to the top of that profession, you need to read books on those who've already made it. Also, you need to read books that work on you, yourself. It's often said that it's better to work on you do far more in life if you take time to work on yourself more than you work on your business and your career. I'll give you a couple of examples of books you should probably want to read. First book I recommend you to read, just books that work on yourself, is The Slight Edge. It's written by a man named Jeff Olson. And what the book talks about, ladies and gentlemen, is it's a foundation for personal development in your life. It talks about how everything you do, all the actions you do day after day after day have an effect on whether you're going to be successful or whether you're going to fail. Okay? That's one book I recommend you read. The second book I recommend you read for those who want to take notes is The Magic of Believing by Clark Bristol. This book works on your self-esteem, your confidence. It'll help you with that. Another book that does the same thing is called The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David Schwartz. The fourth book I'd like you to try to think about reading is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That book is a summary of 17 principles that, it's interesting how that book got written. Napoleon Hill was a reporter back in the early 20th century. And he was sent on an assignment to interview the richest man at that time, which was Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was a steel magnate. It was just a regular interview at the time. Well, Andrew Carnegie took a liking to the young man. And later on, after a period of 2 weeks of talking to this young man day after day after day, he challenged him to interview 500 of the most successful people at that time. Find out what each one of them had in common as far as being successful. Put it all together in a book. And he took him, gave him 20 years to publish it. He never gave him a salary to do this. But he did give him letters of introduction so he could talk to all those people. Last but not least, fifth book I recommend you to read is The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. It's a very old book, but it teaches you how to take care of money that you have. So, because, sometimes we all earn money, and we think we should earn more money, but the thing you need to take in consideration is not how much you make, ladies and gentlemen, it's how much you keep.